Hello everyone, Sheik here with another Transformers review, and as you can see, this is the one that I was using as a stand in the previous episodes, and I don't know how I'm managing to get this thing to stay where it is right now, but as long as my phone stays there, I am perfectly fine. As you can see, this is Transformers Robots in Disguise, Decepticon Demolition Team, Wide Load, Sledge, and Broadside. Broadside's the tank, Sledge is the dump truck, and Wide Load is the scoop / bulldozer. As you can see, this is definitely an older thing. Found it on Amazon. Decided, hey, I want some Minicons because I love Minicons. Yeah, Sledge, Wide Load, and Broadside. And then there are their specs. And I'm not going to bother reading out all their specs, but I will read out their bio, which is a little difficult to see just because of perspective, so I'll just read it to you guys. We play dirty. If it can be built, the Demolition team can bring it down. Every member of the team is an expert engineer specializing in weakening and destroying the foundation of any structure they encounter. Before any important battle, you'll find the Demolition team on site, tunneling beneath enemy fortifications. Entire Autobot cities have collapsed in a thunderous cloud of dust because of the work of these three. Quite impressive considering that they are minicons. Because, I mean, minicons are about the size of humans, so that is very impressive indeed. So let's go ahead and get the box opened up. And only downside to the older packaging that they used to use is that you can't really save it because, you know, it kind of tears it up. And I don't really think I'm going to save their technical data, but maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then, of course, older packaging. They actually use plastic ties. They've definitely changed quite a bit over the years how they've decided to handle packaging and stuff. And then just go ahead and get their instructions opened up. Let's go ahead and take off that tape just so it doesn't get in the way. Slide out their instructions. Minicons have always been a favorite of mine. It's just that they're so miniature, so adorable, and look, and they're so simple yet so cool. And as you can see, there is just going. They're like one of them is 3 steps, and the other is the other 2 are 5 steps. Very, very simple. And anyway, I'll probably find some way to screw up transforming them. And yeah, but let's go ahead and take a look at them one at a time. So first up is Wide Load, the little dump truck, which is probably meant to be one of those ginormous dump trucks. As you can see, he is relatively simple. Small. I mean, minicons are simple in general, but that is something that's really, really cool, is that you can actually dump his loads if you wanted to, so to speak. Just lift that up, dump. So it's actually a tiny little functioning dump truck. I absolutely love that. Alright, so to transform him, you just lift this up, split apart his front, and then rotate him around, and there's his noggin right there. Flip out like that, and extend his legs, which are the extend, and then rotate his waist, and there we have him in his robot mode. And as you can see, he doesn't really have hands per se. He just has a couple little flaps, one that has a little what looks like a little peg hole on it, so maybe he could potentially hold something. But yeah, that is one thing that minicons are definitely known for, is lack of hands and lack of articulation. But let's go ahead and show off what limited articulation he does have. After taking a nice look at that noggin, which is just done in solid green, not the worst, but not necessarily the greatest either. And as you can see, he does have quite the chest that someone could make jokes about, but I'm not going to make those here. But for arms, his arms do go down like that. They go out about that far. They don't really go forward and back in the traditional manner, but you can get them to go back like that. forward like this, and that's pretty much it for his arm articulation. He does have waist swivel, but that's also due to transformation. He can pretty much do the full splits, but not quite. Legs can go forward that far, back that far, and he doesn't really have any swivel, but you can do that with his hip joint. And then he does have bend at the knee, but that is also due to transformation. So that is pretty much it for a wide load. So let's just go ahead and set him off to the side. And let's go ahead and do Broadside, which I think is kind of interesting. They probably just named this Minicon Broadside just to keep their rights to the name. As you have seen, possibly seen in one of my other videos, G1 Broadside, who turns into an airplane and into an aircraft carrier. And as you can see, this is the Minicon Broadside. The only thing that I really worry about this guy potentially breaking is his barrel right there, because it is kind of small plastic, but should be fine as long as I don't, set anything really heavy on it. But it does rotate all the way around, which is amazing considering how small he is, and his barrel does move up and down. So very nice for something so small. And then he does also have 4 little tiny wheels to roll him around, but he's already so lightweight that you can't really cause the wheels to roll. He just slides around. Alright, now for transformation, let's see. You just rotate the barrel back, pull out the sides of the tank like so, and pull apart the rest of the back of the tank. And then, oh boy, that is actually pretty quite ingenious. If you see, it looks almost, it's like the best way analogy I can make is like scissors, the way it's set up. Now that's actually pretty cool, pretty neat. And then, there we are. That's where his head lives, is right there. So his head is connected directly to the barrel. Alright, and now, let's see. Okay, it looks like, I will admit, sometimes Minicons can be a little surprisingly difficult considering their size. Alright, so these are his legs right here. As you can see, there are his feet, kinda. And Minicons aren't necessarily the best proportioned. Okay, and I do apologize for the camera, but yeah, flip that down and then rotate. I think you just keep, nope, that's just rotate down too. Just probably not lined up quite right. Let's see. There we are. Rotate down. As you can see, it just have to make sure it's, well, like I said, lined up right. And then, let's see about his arms. Oh, and he actually does have little hands. As you can see, he has a tiny hand right there. Flip out. And I doubt there's really any ports made or guns small enough for him to actually hold anything. But like I said, considering that most Minicons don't even bother with actual hands, it's actually pretty cool. Alright, and then on this other side, he doesn't have a hand, but he has a little Gatling gun. Like that. And then, as you can see, he is a very tubby fellow. And definitely might even have worse articulation than wide load. Anyway, for articulation, I guess you can say, in a sense, because of the turret, he does have, his head can do like a full 360. He can look up and down, and then arms can do a 360. It's a weird 360, but they can do a 360. They can go out and out like that. And he does have, I guess, a tiny bit of reverse elbow articulation, but that's more due to transformation. His legs, he can kind of get him to go out a little bit. Can go forward that far, back that far, and he does have rotation. So I guess if you wanted to make his legs like this, so they don't look so I guess, so fat, thick, whatever. I mean, of course, your toy, display however you like. Just to make it where his hips don't look so wide, you can have him rotate like that. And but he might not stand as well. Who knows? He might. Yeah, he actually stands surprisingly well considering how thin his legs are. But yeah, it doesn't want to stand this way. It's probably because he's a little too top heavy like that, and then back heavy. So I think they designed it specifically to where he can only really stand like that. All right, so yeah, that's about it for Broadside. And now, last but not least, the one that I was looking forward to the most in this set, because he seemed just to have the weirdest looking little transformation, or weirdest looking robot mode, but also cool vehicle mode, is Minicon Sledge, the bulldozer and scoop. And as you can see, he is a nice little, and the colors aren't too off from like a real bulldozer and stuff. And he has nice blue for the windows, and then the scoop, which can go up and down like on an actual bulldozer, just moves up and down. And then the scoop also has quite a decent range of motion as well, which is actually pretty cool, which makes it kind of reminisce a little bit, because they do not seem to make Transformers like they used to. Granted, they have made significant improvements in some ways, but also they've gone back in others. And as you can see, he has 4 spinning tires, which they're plastic, of course, but they have metal pins holding them in rather than those snap-on tires, which kind of bug me, especially on Studio Series, because it's like you'd expect them to have a better look about them, because this actually makes them look more like actual tires, in my opinion. Alright, so to get them transformed, you just just pull down his, pull down his legs, which I think they're either that's meant to give them some swivel, or maybe not, but it does look like there might be a little bit of like dried glue, so maybe they just didn't glue them on properly. I'll figure that out. If that's the case, then I'll just probably super glue them just to make sure that they stay in place. But you rotate down, like there we are, rotate down like that. Then a rotate at the hips like that, and then you have an arm here and an arm here. I think you just get that rotate down, just to give them a little bit more body, and then just flip this up and to the side, and there we have him in his, actually it's supposed to be up like this according to the instructions. There we are, because now his hand is orientated in the proper way. Okay, so here we have him in his robot mode, and as you can see, it is, I'd say, with the exception of maybe like wide load, his looks the most like a kind of a traditional robot mode, although he does have the kind of weird arms, and yeah, that is something I need to fix, because it doesn't look like they're supposed to rotate like that. Anyway, there he is. Let's take a look at that noggin. And without the better lighting, it's a little harder to see, but it does look like he has a construction worker's hat done in a nice copper, and the rest of his face is done in black. And then for articulation, this arm does go forward and back like that. He can go up about that far, down that far, and there is quite a range of motion in this one direction. Unfortunately, there's not a ball joint here. It's just a hinge, so you cannot rotate it up and down. This one is on a ball joint, so you can get some motion like that. You got a little bit of rotation, but that's, like I said, more just for like the bulldozer mode. But you can do a full 360, so this arm definitely has a lot more articulation. The hips, of course, it's just one ball joint right there, and you can also bend it up so you can have him sitting. So he does definitely have quite a bit of articulation, and if I decide not to fix this little problem right here, you can then also have swivel right there. So that's pretty much it for his robot mode. And get a nice little shot of all three of them. Alright, and that's about it for the Transformers Robots in Disguise Demolition team comprised of Sledge, Broadside, and Wide Load. And if you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.